Hi, my name is Bodie Franklin. I'm a data science student at SMU, and I'm here today to talk to you about a case study that we did regarding employee attrition. And so, what that entails is if the employees retained or not. So, we were given a data set and asked to analyze it in the hopes that we could identify significant variables that would lead to improve employee retention. So, in the first graph here, we see total attrition. We see that overwhelmingly a lot of people are leaving the company. Well, they have a small retention of roughly 100, 160. So this next graph is attrition and job satisfaction. Within the data set, employees were asked how satisfied they are with their job. There's a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the highest. What we see from this is regardless of their satisfaction, their attrition rate did not seem to improve at all. So someone who is reporting a 4, highest job satisfaction, is still leaving the company. So let's look at job satisfaction by department. We have three departments within this company: human resources, research and development, and sales. Regardless of the job satisfaction of the department, it seems that it's equally spread out. When we look at attrition by job role, employees are still leaving the company. So what this suggests is that it's not a job role issue, it's more of a company issue. Perhaps it's some type of culture within the firm that's causing people to leave. One of the interesting stats that we were given was the marital status. So perhaps marital status had something to do with the attrition rate. Well, looking at this graph, we see it's equally proportional to people staying or leaving, regardless of their marital status. Another interesting aspect we were given was relationship satisfaction. Again, scale 1 to 4, 4 being the highest. We see that regardless of the person's marital status, it's equally distributed on the relationship satisfaction scores. So perhaps this has nothing to do with marriage. So work-life balance in relation to attrition. So perhaps people who have low work-life balance are more likely to leave the company. Well, that's not what the data is suggesting. The data is suggesting a lot of people have a strong work-life balance at this part over 3, but they're still leaving. So this again suggesting work-life balance isn't playing a role within the attrition rate. This is probably my favorite graph within the whole presentation. So what this is attrition in relation to daily hours worked. So we derive the daily hours by taking the daily rate and dividing it by hourly rate. And that gave us how many hours a person's working during the day. What's interesting though is this person, based on their daily and hourly rate, are working 30 hours a day, which isn't possible if there's only 24 hours in a day. So this suggests this person working much more than they should be working. So looking at monthly income and job satisfaction, this graph shows us that regardless of the monthly income, the distribution of job satisfaction is relatively the same. Which is interesting though is people making around 2,500 appear to have the highest job satisfaction for. So after looking through all those graphs, there's really no clear answer on what explains employee attrition. So this is where we turn to machine learning in hopes that we can use machine learning to identify the major variables that contribute to employee attrition. So for our first model, we use KNN, which is closest neighbor. The variables I used for this analysis was business travel, years at the company, and marital status. After exploring the dataset, you'll see that business travel and marital status are non-numeric, and we had to convert those from factors into a numeric value. This gave us an accuracy of 84, a sensitivity of 84, and a specificity of 72. If we applied the same variables to the naive Bayes model, we get around the same accuracy and sensitivity, but our specificity is 0. So we can't use naive Bayes to predict employee attrition. Another interesting approach that I did was I used random forest. So what random forest does, it takes the whole data set and uses decision trees in order to determine the classification. So again, the classification was just yes or no. So random forest went through the whole data set and they came up with the accuracy of 83, sensitivity 98, but the specificity was low at 16. Another interesting aspect to random forest was it will tell us the significance of each variable. So looking at this variable, we see that monthly income over time and age were important for random forest to determine its classification. So one of the other additional tasks we were asked to do is we were asked to predict the monthly income of the workers. So what I did is I took monthly income and total working years. And what we see here is there's a higher correlation between these two variables. The longer someone's working, the higher their monthly income is. So more experience, higher pay. Pretty straightforward. So what I did is I incorporated these two variables into my linear model. So I used monthly income, job level, and then working years, which is total years working. It gave me RMSE of 1,272, and then my margin of error was $193, which is pretty good considering we're projecting monthly income, which are in the thousands. Thank you so much for listening. That's all I have for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. My URL is right there, and I'll be happy to respond. Again, thank you so much and have a great day.